today on the Scotland Talk Time Show with three special guests. The King of Scotland, Malcolm. Lady Macbeth, Gentlewoman. And Macduff. How are you doing this afternoon?
Good.
That's good. So, we're here today to talk to you three about what citizens had to say about the events that have been recently going on in Scotland. So the first question is for Macduff, and the citizens wanted to know, what was your first reaction when you found the King of Scotland, Duncan, dead?
As soon as I found the king dead, I felt betrayed by the men who I thought were loyal, and I couldn't believe anyone's information about the king because I couldn't believe in anyone or trust anyone on it.
Why did you have suspicion of Macbeth when the murder first happened?
I first thought about Macbeth because he kind of just shrugged it off like nothing happened, and he was acting too calm. Like, you could just tell he was making himself that calm. Because if the king just got murdered in your home, you're going to freak out. And people were saying that Donald Bain and Malcolm fled the scene because they were guilty of killing the king. But I just think they ran away for their own safety.
So, Malcolm tricked you to thinking that he was going to be a bad leader. Is that correct?
Yeah. When he first started saying he was going to be a worse leader than Macbeth, I kind of felt betrayed because I didn't really know why he'd say that. And I felt like I made the wrong decision picking Malcolm to go take over being king than Duncan's other son, Donald Bain.
So why did you pick Malcolm over Donald Bain?
I picked Malcolm over Donald Bain because Duncan wanted Malcolm to be king, and I really wanted Malcolm to be king because Macbeth was a traitor, and since Malcolm was first in line to be king before Macbeth was, that I thought it was the right thing to have Malcolm as king because he'd do everything for the good of Scotland.
How did you feel when Macbeth killed your family, and was it easier for you to be able to kill him?
When Ross first gave me the news about the killing of my wife and son, I felt very betrayed, and it did make it a lot easier to plan to kill Macbeth because he took the most important things away from me, and he just thought that nothing would happen. And by me knowing that I was going to kill Macbeth, it was a lot of relief for me knowing that he couldn't kill any more people because it's been going on for a while now.
So, are you planning to be beside Malcolm while he's King of Scotland?
Malcolm and I have become very close since Macbeth was ruled over as king, and I'm going to stick with Malcolm as long as he does everything for in the good of Scotland.
Okay, thank you. So, the next question was for the gentlewoman, and the citizens wanted to know, what were Lady Macbeth's symptoms when she first started to go crazy?
Her symptoms were that she sleptwalked, and she pretended to write letters, and she tried to wash a blood spot off her hand, which was never there, and she could never be left alone in the dark. She always had to have a candle, and she confessed to crucial events that were happening in Scotland.
What were the things that she confessed to?
She confessed to persuading Macbeth to kill Duncan, and she confessed to how she knew about all the murderers. And the three murderers that he hired, the first two, one was her brother Eden, and one was Macbeth's distant cousin Douglas, and the third murder was a security murderer, and it was Donald Bain.
Do you think that Lady Macbeth was really crazy, or do you think she was just overcome with guilt?
I think she was overcome with guilt because my relationship with Lady Macbeth grew closer, and I knew what was going on in her life, and I feel like she was overcome with guilt and stress of the events that were happening.
Makes sense. After the confessions that Lady Macbeth had made, why didn't you tell anybody who was behind the murders?
I wanted to stay loyal to Macbeth and Lady Macbeth because my relationship with them was greater than the good of Scotland, I think. And if I told the citizens about what was happening in the castle, the chaos in Scotland might have got greater. Might have been greater.
Did Macbeth ever confront you about if you ever heard anything in the castle about what they might have been talking about? Did he ever say not to say anything or threaten you if you would say anything?
I hardly ever heard anything in the castle, but when I did, I felt like I should keep it to myself because they're saying those things in the castle so no one else hears them. And if I told anyone, I would feel really bad about myself because I just told a secret that they didn't want to know. And Macbeth did threaten me one time if I told anybody about anything that he would kill me or would hurt me.
Now that both Lady Macbeth and Macbeth are dead, do you feel free to say what went on in the castle?
I still feel kind of hesitant saying certain things because I don't want to get blamed for keeping secrets away from Scotland.
So, do you think that if you did say anything about what went on, people would hurt you or kill you because you never said anything while it was going on?
I don't know if they would hurt and kill me, but I don't think they could trust me with anything, and they might turn a cold shoulder to me, and I wouldn't fit in Scotland anymore.
Well, we're going to have to take a break now, but we'll be right back here to talk with Malcolm.
Got 2 pennies?
Come on down to the Globe Theatre
To see the premiere of Macbeth.
on November 30th.
Don't want to miss this one.
It's a real tragedy.
Welcome back to the Scotland Talk Time Show. We just had discussion with Lady Macbeth's gentlewoman and Macbeth. And now we still have some questions to ask Malcolm, who is now the King of Scotland. So Malcolm, citizens want to know, why did you run away after you found out that your father had been murdered?
I was very scared for my brother and I, developing, because after my father is murdered, I was worried that we will be next, and I wanted to keep him safe and myself safe, so we fled the scene. And my life, I thought, was more important at that time than becoming the king of Scotland and following my father.
Did it still hurt you that Macbeth became king over you after your father had died?
Well, since I wasn't in Scotland at the time, I understood that he was crowned king, but I still wanted to be king because I wanted to be what my father was, so I wanted to get back there and take it back.
So, how did you first feel, and what was your first thought when you heard that your father had been killed?
I was in complete shock because at that time we were surrounded by people we trusted and people that were loyal to us. So then when he was murdered, I realized suddenly that there's someone that we shouldn't trust. And I was devastated, and I knew I had to protect my brother and I had to protect myself.
So, who do you think was most loyal to you during the time?
Most definitely Macbeth. Yeah, because he's been by my side the whole time, and he's been helping me make the best decisions that I can make, and helping me get over my father's death and try to take back what was ours.
And here he is, still sitting beside you.
Still alive, thank the Lord.
Strong.
So now that you are king, do you have a different respect for Macbeth and what he went through?
Yes and no. I know how stressful it can be with all the citizens. Like, you're the one who are responsible for them, and you have to take care of them. And with all these people that are trying to help you, trying to tell you what to do, and it gets really stressful. And I can understand how he thought what he did, he thought he was doing right since he was king, and there's all these people trying to take that from him. But he went to an extreme, and I can do the same things he wanted to do without hurting anyone or killing innocent people.
Do you think that what happened to your father might or will happen to you?
Yes, it's quite possible that someone's going to want to take my position from me, or may not even like the way I'm ruling now. But I'm not going to let that influence the way I'm being king, and I'm not going to let that influence the decisions I am making for Scotland. But at the same time, I am more guarded. I don't trust as many people, since my father did trust lots of people and he got murdered. I'm making sure who I trust is very loyal, and I'm going to watch out for people that don't want the best.
So now that you are king of Scotland, what are your plans?
Well, I really want to listen to the citizens and to do what's best for the country. I feel like Macbeth, he didn't really listen to what the citizens had to say, and he didn't really do what was best for them. So I'm going to get us back on track, and I'm going to make the citizens happy, and also make Scotland a very great place and be as good as the king as my father was.
That's nice. So, do you have any women in your life right now, Malcolm?
No, actually, no. Hey, what are you doing later tonight? Oh? Well, no, actually, right now I'm just focusing on But Stuff for Scotland, and I need to look after that before I look after that stuff.
So, I have a few questions for the three of you to discuss upon yourselves, and the first question is, do you think that Macbeth was pure evil? And if so, why do you think that?
I don't think he was. I think Macbeth was trying to do what he thought was best for Scotland, and I don't think he thought he was doing anything wrong.
Actually, I thought he was pure evil. Like, at first, I feel like he was doing what was best for himself, but at the same time, it wasn't best for Scotland. And he didn't want to kill Duncan, but once he did, I feel like he was killing people who didn't need to be dead just because it was out of his own pleasure.
Yes and no. I think at the beginning of his time as king, he wasn't as evil and was looking out for what was best for Scotland, but then the power and greed got to him, and he became evil, and he did all those bad things.
Do you think that Macbeth was killing people for the right reason, or do you think that he was killing people because he liked the power that he felt from it?
I think he was doing it to achieve what he wanted deep down and what he's always wanted.
I think he was killing people at the beginning to further his power, but then he got too involved with it, and he was doing it for more than that.
I think that Macbeth was definitely doing it out of pleasure. At first, when he was killing the king, he was kind of doing it just for himself, to be king, like, to get him where he wanted to be. But he took it too far by killing all those people when they didn't really do anything. He just thought they were in his way and they were going to stop him from being king. So I feel like after a while, he was just doing it for pleasure.
So, do you think that it's for the best that he's dead now?
Yes, definitely.
I think they could have handled it in a different way, and I think he could still be living today.
I think he deserved what happened to him, because he killed more people than anyone has seen after he killed himself.
For a wrong reason.
For a wrong reason.
And that concludes this week's Scholar Talk Time Show with these three guests. Don't forget to tune in next week with Romeo and Juliet. Good night.
That's a rope! Oh my.
That was way too girly.
Take 3.
That was not me.